As the 1960s came to a close, America's airwaves were awash with popular music being broadcast by the AM stations and the brand new technology coming in called FM radio. America's Latino segment had become extremely powerful as an artistic and commercial segment of America's collective artistic consciousness. Mambos and cha-chas and sambas and contradances and a brand new dance from Brazil called the bossa nova all populated our top 40 playlists. Folk music was almost equally strong. Folk music had persisted through the 30s, 40s, and 50s as almost an underground music. But in the 1950s and 1960s, folk music moved center stage with groups like Peter, Paul, and Mary and the Kingston Trio. These groups were an essential part of the 1960s countercultural posture. Although in the early 60s, there was very little countercultural about the 60s. One of the most important early protest music was, oddly enough, relegated to the style called surf music. Surf music was not just about people in swimsuits and surfboards and going out and waiting for the great kahuna and the perfect wave. No, surf music was an early indicator. It demonstrated that America's youth was not happy with the realities they were inheriting. Surf music became an important expression and is directly linked to a style we'll study in the 70s in a couple of weeks called punk. At the same time that surf was being broadcast across America, two other new styles of music were evolving. One in Memphis called soul music, which was an extension of the Atlanta blues, and another in Detroit, the Motor City, which would be called Motown. This was an extension of Chicago blues. All of them were taking rhythm and blues, Chicago blues, Atlanta blues, Texas blues, and putting together in ever-changing, ever-evolving styles. The 60s were a complex decade, culturally, politically, and artistically. And the world was in for another great set of musical changes.